Welcome on, everybody. With the lads, so you can't do it. What? Welcome to what? Oh, Popcorn Punchups, the only podcast you need for movie news, movie reviews, and more. Yeah, I know, but I'd like to trick you. Gotta keep you on your toes, because your ADHD makes you want novelty.
I do.
I know you.
It's very Yoda.
That is my Yoda, because it is episode 18, and I am up, so I'm the wise man for once.
Yeah.
The wise old man.
You're up by 2. This time on the last... You're up by 2 at the beginning of the last fight as well.
Yeah, it is. Fight night.
And then you lost
I'm
4
a sprinter.
in a row.
I'm a sprinter. I'm not a marathon runner. I'm not endurance.
Same.
That's
sprint hard at the start and then you run out of steam.
Yep. But then you got to push through. Just keep on pushing, baby. Kind of like something that has no. What have you been doing this week?
I know you're fine. No, it's doing the same as every week. Expedition 33. Shit's so good.
Yep. You finished it now, though, haven't you?
I finished it. I've done a lot of the side stuff. I'm getting pretty close to running out of stuff to do. Then I'm going to play New Game Plus.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I have just got, I think, probably about halfway. I feel like it's kind of halfway now, where it's like your first... And no, it's not the end of Act 2, but it feels kind of like the end of Act 2, you know, where it's like all of a sudden something has got in your way and then you have to like deal with it, and then it's like a new thing. So I have to go and fight these 2 mask things, and these masks are like, you come this way, and there was a cool little bloke that walks out and he's like,
oh, the Axons?
And then, yeah, they could be.
One's like on an island with faces everywhere, and one's in like a sand world.
That's the island I'm on now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The visage.
This is cool.
I forget what it is.
I feel like this is going to be annoying. See this little light?
No one can see that but us, because I would have green screened that out.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like it will be annoying.
Leave it now. If you point it out, at least if it's there after I green screen, then that's why.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll see.
Well, did you know Pixar have now announced a new animated film? It's about a cat in a gatto.
What? Cat in a gatto?
It's a new, this new movie by Pixar. It looks pretty cool. The art style looks pretty unique. It looks like it's set in Venice. Is it Venice, the one that's got all the little boats that go through the place?
Yes, it is Venice. Yep.
Yeah, it looks pretty sick.
It's called gatto. Cool. Oh, because gatto is cat in Italian. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. That art style looks good anyway.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean,
Pixar will do it right.
Yeah, fucking Win or Lose was great. That's the best thing I've seen in a while.
Yeah. Do you know what is returning? Because I did send you a message about this yesterday. Because I was like, what is this?
If you had like paid me to guess what's going to come, like what's going to be announced this year, I never would have guessed this.
I forgot this movie existed, but like back in high school, this was like so funny. Like this was one of the most like outlandish sort of like things that would quote like almost a lot.
Oh, really?
I was going to say consistently, but I wasn't. But this was like so funny.
This was never like a running joke with me and my friends. I was just with my brother because he's a big Star Wars guy. Anyway, what is it?
It is Spaceball 2. I really did not expect that. So Mel Brooks is returning for it, and Bill Pullman is to return as well.
Yeah.
It is set for 2027, which is... I wasn't expecting this to be announced.
I hope they do call it The Search more money. Just I hope they do. For the meme of it all.
I mean, they're pretty self-aware to begin with anyway.
Well, that's the whole thing.
The whole like...
merchandising. Yeah. Merchandise. It's great.
Oh, so funny. Also, another sequel.
Sorry, I think it's funny as hell. Go on. Another sequel, yep.
Another sequel that got a announcement, which is getting released for Christmas. Can you guess what this one is?
The fucking Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie, the sequel.
No, but I'm sure that will be. But it's Violent Night 2 is set for Christmas 2026. Mm-hmm. First one was alright.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
I didn't mind it. Yeah.
Let's see what we gave
It's,
it. We
I think we gave it a reasonable one. I think it was like threes.
Yeah.
Threes.
I gave it a 3, gave it 2.5. I liked it a little bit more than you, by the sounds of it, but yeah, we didn't love it. But it wasn't bad. It's just better stuff.
Yeah. It's mainly about sequels currently, because the last bit of movie news is there is another Pixar film that is getting a third film this time.
Inside
Can
Out.
you guess what this one is? No. They wear red jumpsuits.
Incredibles?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Incredibles 3.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I haven't seen number 2 yet.
I didn't mind 2, where I actually wasn't a big fan of number 1, surprisingly.
Right. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, never really clicked with me.
I don't understand that. But considering you love superheroes, number 1's fucking great.
Don't know, just didn't click. Don't know why.
That's weird. For you, that's very weird.
I'm a weird man.
Yeah, I thought anything to do with heroes you'd be latching onto.
Nope. I've tried a number of times to watch it. It's gotten better the more times I see it, but it's still not like something I'd see and be like, yeah, let's watch that. I don't know.
Right. Nah, it's pretty sweet. I like number 1 a lot.
Okay, fair. Well then, let's get off to
Straight into
the
it.
first one off the
Make sure you
rank,
call
which
it
is
by its full
actually-
title.
Full title, let me make sure. So this is From the World of John Wick, semicolon, Ballerina.
Full colon. Colon.
Semicolon.
Semicolon has a little
colon.
dash at the bottom, like a...
All right, rewind. From the World of John Wick, colon, Ballerina. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, thank you. So obviously this is actually set between John Wick 3 and 4.
Yep.
I thought it was going to be, I don't know, I've actually read it a few times, but I originally thought this was just going to further progress the story, but it makes sense. I don't know why.
Well,
I just
because
had it in my head.
they killed the main character and they want to bring him into more movies. So how else do you do that
That's true.
without spin-offs?
That's true. True. So, this is about an assassin trained in the traditions of the Ruska Reimann organization sets out to seek revenge after her father's death. So, this is starring Ana de Armas. Armas? I can never say her name right,
Yeah,
but
it's close. Ana de Armas.
De Armas. I've always said if there's going to be a female James Bond,
yeah.
I'd want her to play it.
Yeah,
And I
second
think she's done really, really well in the action scene. I thought, surprisingly,
Yes.
holds her own really well.
Yes. The problems with
this-
her character are not her fault. We'll get to that.
No. So this is set between, as I said before, number 3 and 4 of the film. It runs a very standard revenge plot. So we have Eve, who is our main character. Father gets murdered, and then she gets pulled into the organization. They keep hinting at she doesn't know who her parents are, and her parents are obviously involved in some bigger grand scheme. And she gets pulled in. She has to do her training, and then she needs to get out. Tries to get out, and then fights against the organization. And then we get lots of cameos. So we also get John Wick reappears.
Yep.
We get Norman. What's his name? The guy from Walking Dead.
Oh, Reedus.
He plays, what was his character? Pine? I can't remember the first name of it.
Should need to exist, but I think he's just there to set up another spin-off.
Yeah, pretty much. He's there for the emotional confliction of do I do this? I got to save this child so they don't get pulled into the organization. That's
Which was so
pretty
necessary.
much. Yeah, but it was there because it was I didn't break the rules, but we'll get into that.
You could have removed him,
then,
and it would have made no difference to the story. His little side thing.
Yeah, we get Winston. He reappears.
Yeah,
we also get to
Ian
see the
McShane.
director.
Is Angelica
and
Houston
also
in other movies? Is she in the other John Wicks?
The
The
director.
director?
Yeah, she's in them.
Okay.
It's not a big role.
So I haven't seen 2 or 3. Looks like she's in number 3
She's
only.
in 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, so I guess I didn't. Oh, no, I have seen 2. I haven't seen 3. Yeah, makes sense. I like Angelica Houston. I think she's very underutilized in this, but
I don't. I think that was just for the novelty, and they were like, "Here's a cameo. Here's a cameo."
Yeah. Do you remember the Witches?
Yeah,
she was the witch in the Witches. It's fucking awesome.
Roland Dahl. Yeah, so we get lots and lots of lots of nostalgia in this film. So we get to see the montage of her going through training. For a montage, normally action montage, we sort of heavily criticize. I thought it was pretty good. It was cheesy, but I still enjoyed it.
It's fine.
Even to the point where it was like, where she was like, I can't do this. And then it was like, fight like a girl. And then pretty much every single fight scene after that, she hit him in the penis.
Yeah.
I laughed every time. I found that quite
it just
amusing.
felt like I don't know. It just felt really obvious, like, this is how women should fight or whatever. Like, I don't know. I like women empowerment, but when it's this like scripted, it feels really stupid at times.
No, I laughed.
There's more that she could do than that. I was expecting her to be like figuring out all these things that she could do because she's more flexible. Women are more flexible, and women can do this and that, whatever. But it just turned into her kicking everyone in the nuts multiple times. I was like, okay, it's nuts or nothing. Yeah. Chainsaw Man.
Funny though. So we get the montage, and then she gets sent on a mission.
She's a ballerina for some reason, which I don't understand. Ballerina part, they're trying to. I see the ballerina thing as more of like a, keep being tough, because John Wick's never been the strongest. John Wick's never been the best, the most smart, whatever. John Wick's just the toughest. That's his character, and she sort of has that same thing, and that's the whole ballerina thing is like, to be a ballerina, you gotta be really tough. It's like the woman's version of like, the toughest thing ever, which again felt kind of cheesy. But I don't know, she never really did much as a ballerina, and she wasn't even that good at it. Like her friend was better at it. Her, what do they call her? Her companion or whatever the fuck it was. The one who was told that she didn't have the killer instinct or whatever the fuck. She was sad but not angry or some bullshit. I don't fucking.
She was only in there for a short amount of time. You never.
But why is it called the Ballerina? I don't know. I just feel like it has nothing to do with the story. Was it
3 or 4 that we get the ballerina scene where he goes into the theater? I can't remember if it's 3 or 4.
Right.
It's been a little while since I've seen it, but it's meant to be a connection, kind of like how this organization also has the Continentals, like they run the Continentals, and that's how they conduct their business and get money in and stuff as well. From memory, it's a connection on there.
I just wish they spent more. Like you could have got rid of the whole Norman Reedus stuff, given me another 20 minutes of her like growing up, rather than just giving a montage of 12 years later bullshit. Give us some, she wants to be ballerina first. She's with her mum. Her mum gets killed. She's with her dad. She still wants to be like, give me some connection to her being a ballerina. And I may have given more of a shit about that stuff, but it just felt really sort of shoehorned. But anyway, there's a lot of problems with the plot of this.
I mean, the plot is very basic. Like, there's no point in the John Wick's films where you're like, oh my God, that is the high sophisticated script writing or like storytelling.
They weren't messy. They were pretty concise. I feel like this just went back and forth and flip-flopped on some ideas. And again, there's sections with the Norman Reedus stuff that I felt was dumb, didn't need to be there. It only really got good in the last act when she single-handedly took down an entire village of mercenaries, which was dumb, but that's action films for you.
Yeah. Look, it's a very basic revenge plot where she has to, you killed my father, I'm going to get revenge on the whole organisation. Seeing John Wick for the first time, it made sense, where she was like, oh, you're the one they call the boogeyman. And his delivery of, she was like, how do you get out? Or there's a front door. Or use the door or whatever.
Yeah. You always have a choice.
Well, I'm not sure if it was meant to come and get across comical, but it did.
John Wick always sort of has been a bit comical. Yeah. That's just Keanu Reeves' delivery.
But then when later on in the film, after we've got the whole like Pine story and the montage where it was like she's towards the end of the film, we get like John Wick is then tasked to take her down, and then we get that sort of like face off. I was like, I thought this was going to be the end boss. So like in the trailer, I was like, John Wick felt like the end boss, but then he was like, I'm going to give you till 12.
You've got
and then
till
he just
midnight.
Helped her. yeah. Like I was like, oh, okay, that's weird, but
like shooting the fucking fuel tank of the flamethrower man.
Yeah, I gotta say, the one of the most incredible fight scenes I've seen is that with the flamethrowers.
Yeah,
I've never seen a full flamethrower like action scene.
Yeah.
I was like, this is sick, and it had like the over the top, like it felt like a top down action sort of. You know when you play, what are they called? The stick shooters.
Yeah.
Where it's like the top down. You're watching the flamethrower like go out. And them taking turns on shooting because flamethrowers here it's like that constant beam. I was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
Even to the point where the bad guy, whoever you want to,
where the fuck he was
siding with, he's got like his foot's on fire, and I was like, this is like Sanji from One Piece, where he's like just kicking her with his flame foot.
Oh right,
like, sure, you got to put this out, mate.
Yeah.
And he's just,
man,
kicking her.
He was cool. Yeah, that was a cool fight. Like, credit where it's due, that fight was pretty sick. Actually, a lot of the combat, when she's fighting the guy with the ice skates, that's really well like choreographed as well. I was surprised it wasn't directed by the same guy who did the other John Wicks. I forget his name, but this is a different director. Len Wiseman, who has done kind of fuck all. Nothing good anyway. Like he did the Underworld movies back in the day.
I liked the Underworld movies back in the day, though.
Back in the day, they were interesting, but awful when you rewatch them. But yeah, some of the choreography was really interesting, and then some of it was kind of lame. Like most of the fights up until the end were pretty unexciting, and like that's why you watch John Wick films. The cinematography is normally really good, not brilliant, but really good. And the cinematography, this was very boring and sort of uninspired. It just felt sort of like rushed, or I don't know if they did reshoots and things were sort of done like out of like without thinking or done quickly, or I don't know. It just didn't feel like a polished product that we expect from this franchise.
Yeah. Look, anytime you're taking away and you're getting new directors and stuff into it, though, there's always going to be a change in quality. I still really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Even though it's a really basic premise that it is revenge, I thought the fight scenes and the use of like environmental stuff was cool for the fight scenes. So like even the first one where she goes into the nightclub, even though like lots of people are oblivious to this, like 4 or 5 people fighting, they're like still dancing,
no
still
one
carrying on.
really reacts. Yeah.
And then she gets for whatever reason, this nightclub has an ice pick.
Yeah.
I don't know what club they're in, but whatever. And like she's using that to fight, and it was like using the poles that were around rather than just like it seemed they used the environmental stuff. And then it was like the first time I've ever seen someone get sliced with a ice skate.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it in sport, but like in an actual action
Blades
film
of Glory.
where they like pop it on their hand and like slice some people and stuff. I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Like it's not the John Wick level that you know.
What's I'm saying?
This only really sells. Like I wonder if this was a standalone where it had no connection to John Wick at all, would you be like as disappointed with it? Like if you weren't comparing it to the John Wick franchise, would you be like?
I think it would be a fart in the wind if it wasn't part of the John Wick franchise. It would just be another action movie that no one cares about. I don't think it would have got the interest that it has to begin with. I think as a movie, yes, without the comparison, maybe that's a better thing to not compare it to a pre-existing sort of pedestal level of action film. Sure. But it also helps it that it's a John Wick franchise.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I just don't think. I don't know. I'm not even a fan of the John Wick franchise. I haven't even seen one of them. I've seen the first one, the second one, and the fourth one once, and they're okay movies. We gave 4. You gave it a 4.5. I gave it a 4. Like, you know, they're good movies. This just felt really boring. I really struggled to be interested in this the whole way through.
It's a long one.
Just to give us more character. Give me more moments between. I think Eve's backstory could have been fleshed out way more. I really liked every scene with who mentioned earlier, Anjelica Huston. I think give us more scenes with her, Anjelica Huston kind of like raising her. The Nogi character, Sharon Duncan Brewster, like the dark woman who like trained them and stuff. She was fucking awesome. She had nothing to do though. She was so underutilized. Like I just feel like they don't make it any longer. They just could cut out a lot of the bullshit around Norman Reedus and stuff. They got a brand new character here that they need to try and flesh out and add more detail with, and they just kind of didn't. And the plot felt thin, and her character design felt thin. She did fine as an actor in the. You know, it's not her fault that her character's bland. But she did well. Like the choreography and stuff's good, and she put a lot of fucking effort into it. She still felt like John Wick, where it's not about being the strongest, it's about being the toughest. So there were parts I liked and parts I didn't. I'm right down the middle. I'm like 2.5.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I'm biased with Anna, but I was like, I felt for her. I was like, yeah, go. And I was like, that's what I like about the action film, where you start rooting for the character to be able to go and stomp everybody. Unrealistic, but like I want to see them be a one-man army or a one-woman army or whatever you want to call it. Like,
yeah,
that's what I like about John Wick. Like the whole first one, where it was like that simple revenge story, which they tried to capture here, but instead of John Wick going out because his dog died and it was his like parting gift to his wife from his wife, this was like, he killed my father, which is, I don't know. I didn't care for the father as much. Like I didn't feel as emotionally connected for her like need for revenge, but I still was rooting for her to get her revenge.
Yeah.
Where like John Wick, you're like, yeah, get him because you killed his dog. And I was like, yeah.
John Wick feels more grounded in a weird way, because it's not, the first one especially doesn't feel like a big grandiose, larger than life story. It's just one guy hunting down another guy. Yeah. This had, they tried being really clever and etc.
Yeah, I don't know. I still really liked it, even though it's still not up to it. It's like, it's a 3.5 for me. Like I still had a really good time. Yep. And the fight scene with the flamethrowers,
super cool,
very good.
Yeah. There were plenty of parts I thought were interesting, and there were plenty of parts I just was rolling my eyes bored.
That's fair.
I'm glad you liked it, because this is marketed at people like you. This is, you know, people who like action movies where you can just enjoy a character's simple motivations and you know how it's going to end, but you look forward to that ending still. That's, you know, I'm really glad that you enjoyed it. That's honestly, I'm not being sarcastic. I genuinely am happy that you did. I wanted you to.
Yeah. Let's go. Now she just needs to be James Bond.
Jane Bond. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Jane Bond. It's true, hey.
Whatever they want to do with it.
Yeah. Kind of hope not. It's silly, but wouldn't surprise me.
The next one we review from her will be the one where she has a team up with Sydney Sweeney.
Which one's that?
I can't remember what it was called, but it's announced that her and Sydney Sweeney are going to be in the same film.
Yeah, right. It's like your dream come true.
Yeah. Can't remember what it's called. And it's Sydney Sweeney.
Eden? It's already out.
Could be Eden.
Eden's already out. Last year, though.
What?
Movie came out last year with Ana de Armas and Sydney Sweeney.
No, the film is scheduled to be released in the United States on August 22nd, 2025.
Which
it
one's that?
premiered at the...
Oh, that's Eden.
So
Why did I say 2024? Oh, okay. Yeah, go
so
on.
premiered at the International Film Festival on September 7th.
Yep.
In May 2024,
Vanessa Kirby.
AGC Studios sold the rights. Okay. Sold the rights to Amazon Prime Video. So the film is scheduled for release in the States on August 22nd. Okay. That's so bizarre. Oh,
Jude Law.
This might be Nick.
Is this Charlie's
crazy.
Angels? Is that what I'm looking at right now?
That's what the poster looks like, doesn't it?
It's filmed in Australia.
There you go.
There you go. You're in the same country as Anna de Armas and Sydney Sweeney for a little while.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, all right. We'll definitely review that in a month and a bit.
Unless it's already out
Oh, yeah, sure.
somewhere.
All right,
Who
well,
knows?
my pick this week, it was a bit of back and forth. I was going to watch the Predator Killer of Killers the anime film. Looks pretty cool. But then we got access to Training Your Dragon. Then Training Dragon came out and we thought, well, better get on board and get on the shit show probably is. And it wasn't that bad. It's the same fucking movie, but kind of worse. The end. It's look, I don't need to fucking explain the movie. It's the same fucking movie. As an ancient threat endangers both Vikings and dragons alike on the Isle of Berk, the friendship between Hiccup, an inventive Viking, and Toothless, a Night Fury dragon, become the key to both species forging a new future together. Ta-da!
The excitement in your voice.
It's the same fucking movie. It really is copy and paste with some added. It's like 30 minutes longer than the original, most of which are scenes of Hiccup and Astrid, and they're not good. It's Teen Bob bullshit. Hiccup's delivery isn't as good. It's less funny than the original. Hiccup felt more sad, which is fine for, that's what live action does sometimes. It's easier to get. I feel like Gerard Butler as Stoic could do more with his, actual like character portrayal because he was playing the character rather than just voicing the character. So there are, pros and cons, but Hiccup was fucking boring. He was nowhere near as funny. I hated all the child actors. The kid who played Rough Nut, because it's Rough Nut and Tough Nut. The girl who played Rough Nut is like 30. Like, not even exaggerating. Let me look at her. Bronwyn James is her name. She was born in 1994. She's only 3 years younger than me. She's 31. Why?
Yeah, right.
Why?
Even Nick Frost was in this one.
Yeah, he's fine. He did a good job. Like, Nick Frost is always great. Yeah, I don't know. It's the same fucking movie. I've like nothing to say. If you've seen How to Train Your Dragon, the animated version, this is the same movie. Like Lilo and Stitch, the main draw card is really good CGI with our main character dragon, just like Stitch. Toothless looks great. It still has that janky when humans try and like interact with CGI. There's still a little bit of like floatiness happening. Still felt a little bit weightless at times, but not too bad. Like we're getting there. But to call this live action is a bit of a stretch because a lot of it's just CG. I don't know. It's the same fucking movie, but not as good.
Yeah. I thought the proportions of the town and the environment and the people were off. Like it just felt so much smaller.
Yeah, that's actually really good.
Like,
a really good observation, actually.
So, like in the township, everything just seemed much smaller. Like this is meant to be like quite a large settlement, isn't it? Because I watched this.
Yeah, well, when you see at the end, they're all flying around on dragons. There's hundreds of them.
Yeah, like I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago I watched this, and like the animated one, and I was like, oh, right. That's cool. And it was like, the same beats where you get the same emotional connection with like looking after Toothless, and when he finally learns how to fly and he builds the contraption, and there's like actual proper love interest as well with Hiccup and Astrid, where this just felt no, there didn't feel really any chemistry or anything. It was just like,
which is wild considering most of what I said, like I said before, most of what they added was the Astrid and fucking Flynn. I was gonna say Flynn Lockwood, and Hiccup stuff. And yet somehow I felt like their romance was even less earned than the original.
Yeah. I don't know. And so it looked much smaller. Like everything, it felt like a real small little fishing village that just all of a sudden had some dragons come in. Even when the dragons first attacked, I was like, these dragons in the animation, the original, were like massive. And they were like dwarfing. It didn't
feel as threatening. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I wrote that in my notes. That 100% agree. They feel more cartoonish in this. Maybe because they're against actual humans. Than in the actual cartoon. They felt really silly.
Yeah. Even the massive, I don't know, what do you want to call it? The predator dragon or whatever. The one that...
Yeah, just looked fat.
They got yeah. And like that was the reveal of that thing, and when it's like stomping around, you're like, oh my God, like that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
And when what's his name? Was it Stoic? That's the dad's name.
The dad, Joe Butler, yeah.
Yeah, where he's like, does the emotional like, oh, I gotta like sacrifice myself and distract it to let my people escape or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, just those emotional beats, or even where he's having that sort of "you're not my son" kind of like moment.
Yeah,
where it was like those things weren't as emotionally impacting as they are in the original film.
Yeah, it feels disjointed. I kind of wish, I don't know, I wish it didn't exist in the first place, but it would be interesting to see what would happen if they made the dragons like hyper realistic, like Game of Thrones dragons, and the dragons weren't sort of cartoony and silly and goofy like a kids movie. It would be interesting to see how much that would have changed the perspective and made the world feel more real. Because if you're trying to make this feel less fun, less goofy, silly, it's got to inherently do when you transfer a cartoon. I don't know. I feel like that would have been an interesting choice, but I'm not sure if it would have worked out better, or if it would have just still been, people would have hated it because Toothless wouldn't have looked right, and Credit where it's due, Toothless looks great. The music it's the same music, and it's fucking awesome. The scene where they've hit their first flying together like properly, and they're like flying amongst the rocks, and you know, we've got fucking Hiccup like using his foot to bring out these like flap on his tail and stuff. That scene, I still got tears in my eyes like I did the first time I watched it. Like, just like Lilo and Stitch the other week, there are still scenes that had the same emotional impact because it's the exact same scene with the same lines and the same music. And the music in this is a big part of what gets that emotional impact. It's iconic. But
yeah,
it's a worse movie. Like, stop doing this.
Look, it's one of the better live action adaptations though.
Yeah, because it's the same. At least, like, one of the big gripes I had with Lilo and Stitch was just give me the exact same fucking movie and I would have been okay with it. This did that. This made the exact same Control-C, Control-V movie.
Yep.
And that made it slightly better. But I'm saying this a lot recently, there's a creative reason why the initial IP was created in animation. It wasn't because, and this is something I heard someone say during the weekend, is the most spot on thing I ever heard. It's not because animation are glorified storyboarders. Animation is not a stepping stone to live action. Animation is an art form. It is created as a piece of, this is the best way to tell this story. It's not a storyboard to create a concept for future movies. It was better as an animation. Lilo and Stitch is better as an animation. Hercules will be better as an animation. Lion King, fucking Aladdin. The list goes on. We're not... It just makes me mad. I didn't hate it.
Yeah. No. Also, are they the people immune to fire or fire resistant, or is like the wood in this place fire resistant? Because the barriers and the things that they hide behind when they're getting shot with fire, they have holes in them. They have like big gaps, like solid gaps in it, and nothing happens. Like with the first one where the red dragon, I don't know the name for it.
But yeah, the little fat one.
No, the bigger one where it was like the test one, where it was like Hiccup first, the red dragon where it comes out and it's all the chains are above and it flies. Yeah, I think so. And it comes up and it's like it's blowing fire into the people, the viewers up the top.
Yeah.
And then even the barriers that Hiccup hides behind, like there are solid gaps in between this, but
which also, again is more excusable in a cartoon because you can suspend that disbelief in a cartoon way easier.
And you can draw straight lines in cartoons.
Yeah. Yeah, look, let's just say the wood is wet. They wet the wood. Yeah, okay. Let's just say that. I don't fucking know.
But even their shields, the shields are like, I don't know, not even a quarter of their body, and that stops all the fire.
I know.
Yeah.
Also, the character, the guy, Gabriel Howell, who played Snotlout, way too attractive.
Yeah.
Snotlout's been to this little uggo.
Huh?
You know?
Which one was that? The
How to Train Dragons.
It's not there. Yep. Okay.
And Astrid, like if you're gonna have a child actor play a actually, no, looking at a picture of Snotlout, I had him ugly in my head when I remember. Maybe he's not that bad. Maybe I'll take it back. When you're going to get a child actor to play the most badass fucking kid ever, Astrid, teach her how to throw an axe. Teach her how to use a sword. Like, why can't kids go through the same sort of fight training as adults do? Not that young. Nico Parker, she's like in her 20s. 2004, she's early 20s. Why couldn't they teach her how to do these things? Because it's really obvious that she doesn't know how to fucking swing an axe or throw an axe or hold a shield. And it's like everyone was the same. Like, why fucking train these people?
Especially when General Butler, he was in 300 and
yeah, he felt very similar.
Like surely,
he was fine.
Surely,
I don't think it felt really obvious with Astrid, not because she was a girl. It just felt really. There's a scene where she's throwing axes at a tree. Just I don't know why, because she is, and she's never thrown an axe before. You can tell that there's no weight in the axes. It felt really like, come on, why don't you just fucking train these kids how to throw an axe? Come on, please.
I don't know. It was fine. It was, yeah. Look, it's the best animated adaptation that I've seen so far. Considering how bad Snow White was and all the other ones we've seen. Lilo and Stitch was alright.
I like this more than Lilo and Stitch because I'm less connected.
Lion King, that was like
awful.
Pretty
The
average.
worst one.
The Scar one, like they did the Scar telling story, which no one cared about.
I haven't seen
it was Mufasa. That was the one.
The Jungle Book. Yeah, I've heard that's fine.
Haven't they done that a few times now?
Yeah, but the one that came out like somewhat recently.
16. Bill Murray's in that one. Yeah. I don't know. Just stop it. Can't you just re-release a new updated animation? Well, Milan bombed hard. Like, Milan was, to get your copy.
I didn't finish
your copyright law.
Yeah, but it's making billions of fucking dollars. Billions of dollars. Like yesterday at my video game arcade job, it was the busiest it has been in months. And when I was asking everyone like, oh, why is it busy today? Like, what are you guys up to? every single person was there with their kids, and they went to either go watch Lilo and Stitch or How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense because they've got our generation, which now got younger kids, and they're like nostalgia, and then you've got some older, you got the newer crew. Yeah, it makes sense. Especially that Disney stocks are actually massively down, so they need to.
And look, credit where it's due. I guess the one silver lining to all of this, I want bums in seats at cinemas. I want cinemas to do well and to stay successful. I don't want streaming services to kill the cinema industry. So, credit where it's due, they're doing that. But it's just so fucking... It doesn't need to exist. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
2.5.
What would you give it then? 2.5.
Same rating as Ballerina. I probably enjoyed it more than Ballerina, but there's still so many things in this that the whole time I'm like, well, I just want to go watch the fucking original now, and I think I will.
Okay.
It's, to me, just as entertaining.
Yeah, I'd add a 3. Like, it was much better than I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
I thought they were going to ruin it. But, like, it's still enjoyable. But, yeah, if I was going to pick this or the original, it's going to have to be the original.
Yeah, that's straight. Original was, like... I don't throw this word around too much because I think it loses weight. But it's masterful. There's so much about it is fucking genius. I regret the first time I watched it was in a classroom because I couldn't get emotional. I could feel myself getting emotional when I'm in front of like 30 kids at my old school. I would get teased if I started crying in the middle of a English lesson or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah. But yeah, it's genius. It's so good. Why does this exist? Yeah. Anyway, whatever. I said all my bits. All my notes are all done. It's not very interesting. Which means, and I knew this was going to happen because I knew that you would. Once I gave both of them the same rating on my end, I knew that you would have liked Ballerina more than this. So I knew that you were going to win this week. Putting you 3-0 up.
Yeah. Didn't win by much though. Still.
No. 0.25%.
Yeah. Looking by much, only scraped through.
Yeah.
Because, if you're going to watch either of these films, you go watch the original IPs.
Yeah, go watch John Wick 1 and go watch How to Train Your Dragon from 2012, where original is. They're both better movies and you'll have a better time. Simples.
And treat yourself, watch Fubar Season 2.
Is it good?
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, okay.
I've watched I've watched half of the first episode.
Fair.
This week's been hectic. I've been out since 8:30 this morning and got home at 3. And now I've got to go back out.
Do you know, I actually do want to watch. There is a movie called Dangerous Animals. It's a shark movie with Jai Courtney. It's like a serial killer who feeds his like victims to sharks. And I've heard it's really fun, so I think I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Sick. Get keen for that. And if you know what you're doing, if you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, make sure you give a 5-star rating. On YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time. Tell your friends.
Love yous.
Boys.